Okay, let's just dive right in. The AI revolution, it's not some far off sci fi thing, right? It's happening now. It's reshaping our economy, our whole society. And as governments are scrambling to write the rules for this brand new era, one huge question keeps coming up. Can we have all this amazing progress without someone having to pay a steep price? Today, we're going to dissect a major piece of legislation to find out.
So, yeah, this is really the heart of it all. As AI transforms, well, pretty much everything, how do we make sure it works for everybody? How do we build a future that's not just more efficient, but is also more equitable? That's the massive challenge we're tackling today.
So, what's the government's answer to this AI wave? Well, Congress has put together this massive, sweeping piece of legislation. For our analysis here, we're calling it the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or OBBA for short. And you've got to understand, this is a seriously ambitious package of reforms designed to supercharge the economy for the age of AI. This slide really gets to the core of the whole debate. On one hand, you have the people who champion this bill. They love its focus on efficiency, on innovation. But here's the question. Does a more efficient economy automatically mean a fairer one? We're about to put that idea to the test, using the principles of social justice.
Now, to really assess a bill like this, we can't just go on gut feelings. We need a solid framework for what fair even means. And for that, we're going to turn to the brilliant 20th century political philosopher John Rawls and his game changing idea of justice as fairness.
Rawls' point here is just so powerful. He's saying that for any social institution, a law, a government, whatever, justice isn't just a nice to have, it's the most important thing. A law might boost the economy, sure, but if it's not fundamentally fair, Rawls would argue it's fundamentally broken. Okay, so how do we figure out what's truly fair? How do we strip away our own personal biases? Well, Rawls came up with this really elegant solution, a thought experiment he called the veil of ignorance. Here's how it works. It's pretty cool. Imagine you get to design the rules of society from scratch. But, and this is the crucial part, you're behind a veil that hides who you'll be. You have no idea if you'll be wealthy or poor, healthy or sick, what your background is, nothing. It's like cutting a cake without knowing which slice you're gonna get. What would you do? You'd cut it as evenly as possible, right? That's the core idea. Now, from a totally impartial viewpoint, Rawls believed we'd all agree on a few key principles. And the most critical one for our analysis today is what he called the difference principle. It basically says that economic inequalities are okay only if they are set up to give the greatest possible benefit to the least advantaged people in society. So this is going to be our measuring stick. All right, we've got our framework. We've got our measuring stick. Now let's put this One Big Beautiful Bill Act under the microscope and see how it actually holds up. Okay, first up, the bill wants to raise the income reporting threshold for independent contractors and gig workers. For instance, right now, if you make over $600 through an app like Venmo or Uber, they have to send you a 1099 tax form. This bill would jack that threshold way up to $20,000 and 200 transactions. The official reason? It reduces paperwork. But when we look at this through that Rawlsian lens, this so-called convenience has a really dark side. It basically creates an invisibility effect. It makes a huge number of low-income workers effectively invisible to the government. And if they can't see you, how can they design programs to support you? The burden shifts from these big companies to the very people who can least afford it. That is a textbook violation of the difference principle. Next up, the bill wants to pour billions of dollars, billions, in subsidies and tax credits into companies that are developing AI and automation. We're talking about technologies that, let's be honest, are often designed specifically to replace human labor. The goal, of course, is to spur innovation. And this slide just highlights a really stark imbalance. The government is literally paying companies to develop technology that will eliminate jobs, like the job of Mark, a factory inspector whose role is being automated. And yet the bill offers $0, nothing, to help him transition. It's like the profits from this disruption are privatized, but the human cost, well, that's socialized. All right, the third provision we're going to look at is a multi-year freeze, a moratorium on any new federal rules that would require nursing homes to have minimum staffing levels to keep patients safe. And get this, according to the source material, a staggering 80% of nursing homes across the country, and it gets worse, nearly 90% of for-profit facilities already fail to meet these basic safety standards that are now being frozen. I mean, this is another crystal clear violation of the difference principle. The financial gains for the owners of these facilities come at the direct expense of the well-being of some of the most vulnerable people in society, the elderly residents, like Arthur, and the low-wage caregivers, like Sarah. The policy actively harms the least advantaged. So after this deep dive, where does that leave us? Are we looking at a bill that achieves efficiency but completely at the expense of justice? Well, this Rawls scorecard from the source material tells a pretty clear story. Provision after provision, the bill consistently undermines justice for the most vulnerable. Now, there is one exception in there, but the overall assessment, it's a resounding failure on the grounds of fairness. The source's analysis leads to a really stark conclusion. This bill is basically a blueprint for an economy of efficiency without justice. It paints a picture of a future where the gains from all this amazing progress aren't shared. Instead, they come directly at the cost of the most vulnerable among us. But a critique isn't enough. The analysis also points towards a better way forward. So, if this bill is unjust, what would a just version even look like? Well, a just approach wouldn't just fund the automation, it would fund the people. We're talking about things like portable benefits that follow you from job to job, wage insurance for workers who are displaced, and AI transition accounts for lifelong learning. It would mean investing in public education and tying any financial help for care facilities directly to better standards and better pay. It's about designing a future where progress is something we all share. So as we're building this AI-powered future, we also have to consciously build the kind of society that comes with it. Progress, that's a given. But justice is a choice. And at the end of the day, the question we all have to answer is who is going to bear the cost of that progress?